Hi there guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Zach, and amongst other things I am a reenactor and a jouster. Now today I want to talk about some mistakes that I've made as a reenactor, and this is one that you've got to be really careful of because today I want to talk about over-busting myths. Now when I was growing up, me and my brother used to love watching Mythbusters together, and there are a lot of myths in medieval history. An awful lot. And what's really tempting when you find out that something everyone knows is actually untrue is you want to get out the banners, you want to go on crusade, and you want to tell everyone how wrong they are, and tell them what the actual truth is. Now the problem with this, while it's a very noble idea to share the truth with people, the problem is that sometimes we get a little bit too excited and we end up busting a myth too far the other way and creating a new myth which ends up doing the rounds. Now the perfect example of this, I should say, is probably the weight of armor. When we look at Hollywood's depiction of plate armor, we might have a look at it and think, oh dear, they've got absolutely no idea. We see people walking around in clanky armor like robots, and all of the cool people are wearing light, leather jerkins and so on, and that allows them to dance around and kill the bad guys who are wearing the full plate armor. And we think, who would possibly wear plate armor? It's so pointless. Well, obviously a lot of people did. So it can't be as bad as what Hollywood said. But actually, if you've ever worn plate armor for a long period of time and to do strenuous things, you realize that actually it does wear you down. It does wear you out. It can, in some ways, actually cause some other problems that you might have, such as heat exhaustion or something like that. So you need to be careful that you don't overbust the myth. Hollywood's picture of plate armor being far too heavy isn't true, but there is some truth in it. So we need to make sure we don't create a new myth of the ultralight plate armor that allows people to do absolutely everything they would have done before with no cost at all to themselves. Another good example of this would be the katana. Now we know that the katana has its fair share of fans online, and there have been loads and loads of videos done by people who are much better at knowing what is good for than I am, discussing katanas and how good they are and whether they're as good as European longswords or whatever. Now, when you see someone go all out to say katana is the ultimate weapon, it can cut through machine gun barrels, it's better than anything else, you really want to go back at them and say, no, you're wrong, it's actually a rubbish sword, and so on. Both of those approaches would be incorrect. I think one of the things that we need to remember is that we as humans very often can only really cope with swinging from one side to the other. And we need to be aware of this so that we can combat against it. Very often the truth is somewhere in between two extremes. And so we need to make sure that not only are we aware of this, we're not going too far to one extreme or the other, but also the people that we're talking to are hearing us correctly. We want to make sure that they aren't making the same mistake that we are tempted to make. You see, if I overstate a fact slightly, then maybe the next person will overstate that fact slightly more, and the next person will overstate the fact a little bit more, and that is how we've ended up with these myths in the first place. is the human need to exaggerate something and for something to be one extreme or another. So we need to make sure that we're treading that middle path, and also that the people that we are talking to are hearing that there is a middle path to go down, that they don't need to come down on one side or the other. Thank you very much for listening. Can you think of any other myths that might have been busted a little bit too hard? I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments, and maybe I'll do a video about them in the future. Please do like if you've liked it. Do share if you think any of your friends would like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in my next video.